we're actually going to bring up Nikki Gonzalez with Sounding. So if you don't know Soundings, our friend Tracy Judge is the CEO and founder of Soundings Connect, which is a freelance marketplace, job placement, career education and coaching. They've got it all. If you are in the event industry or experiential space, Soundings is a really great place to get connected to make sure that you can really network and get the coaching that you might need in order to really land that next interview. So Nikki is going to join us and chat a little bit about the state of the job market. So we just heard that it's a little frustrating out there, and really those AI ATSs just serve to have people's motivation and kind of will to keep going diminished. So how's it looking for 2026? Is there hope for our industry?
I think so, Liz. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm
You
like,
can. You're great.
right? Am I all good?
You're
All
perfect.
Right. Oh, perfect. Well, Liz, I think it's one thing to say you're not going crazy. People are not going crazy. The world is changing, and the world and the way that we do work inherently is really what's leading it. And I have a few slides if I could share them with you, and feel free to chime in. I prepared this to kind of be presentation, but really, oh, those slides look a little funny over here. But I'll read this out loud. I want to start with this quote because I think it'll be very telling to why we're feeling the way we are. I mean, the world is shifting. There's a lot of different things happening. There we go. That's what we want to read. So there's this quote by the CHRO of Nickel Moreau here. Not since the Industrial Revolution have companies had to really think about work design, about what tasks get done and where those tasks get done, and when and how you deconstruct work so that it's done in an optimal manner. All this to say is we have not had to think about the way work is done in over 100 years. That's a big number. And with things like technology changes, restructuring, layoffs, there is a lot swirling in the world right now. So for all of you who are job seekers, who are job hunting, taking a look at it, it's okay. You're not alone and you're not crazy. So I kind of want to kick off with that piece of it. And on the next slide, I have a few data slides. And Liz, feel free to chime in here if there's anything that, it was a great conversation that you just had for people who are seeking jobs and kind of feeling all of this. So please, if there's anything I can add or any tidbits that, your community is feeling, I'd love to be able to chime in on that as well. But also, there's a big change in technology, obviously, with AI and what you were just talking about, AI ATS systems. So 86% of businesses will be transformed by advances in AI and information processing by 2030. And that is not slightly changed, but it is completely transformed. And so on top of that, in the next slide here, throwing a lot of these numbers and under all of these data pieces, this next slide here, before I come on here, AI is expected to displace 90 million jobs, but then also generate over 170 million jobs as well. So we are definitely sitting in a very awkward period because we also don't know what these jobs are going to look like. But it's likely going to be ones that our skills are going to be needing to shift and change. So what do we do in the short term? We focus on those skills. So if we can hit that next slide, just so you can show that right here. This was from the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs Report 2025. And so if any of you are interested in finding a little bit more data, kind of seeing what the state of the hiring world and kind of what it looks like, that is a really great study that we've been pulling a lot of insight and data from. But of course, I start with that to kind of give you the context and the lay of the land, but really we can do something about this. And that's really what we want to focus on, and is preparing you and your toolbox as we focus on the skill sets and what we are actually doing to reskill and upskill ourselves for what the future work is going to look like. So if you hit the next slide here, continuing on from the World Economic Forum, 58% of the workforce needs new skills to do their current jobs. And we're hearing that from a lot of our talent that I work with on a day-to-day basis. I'm learning a new skill every single day. I'm having to teach myself something new all the time to even do the job that I've been doing for the last however many years, right? And if you hit the next slide, going even further, 39% of job skills will be disrupted by 2030. So this brings a critical focus on being proactive about upskilling, both as ourselves as jobs, or as individuals and job seekers, but also on behalf of the employers that we are working for. Are we making sure that we are equipping people to continue to grow and learn the skills that are going to be needed? But we have organizations that are turning to us with that exact question. How do I even begin to start thinking about upskilling my teams? And a key interview question that we are seeing being asked as well is, what are you doing to keep up with AI? What are you doing to keep up with technology that's coming forward? Because on the flip side, employers themselves are also trying to understand what their teams are going to be looking like in the next 1 to 2 years. So they're going to be valuing adaptability and having thinkers who can continue to learn and shift as the work evolves as well, because that's all changing at the same time. If we hit the next slide, continuing on this conversation about skills, we actually did a survey within our own industry, and that's something at Soundings that we are very keen on, is in that research and being able to listen to our own communities and people in our industry, what we're doing to understand what's going on. What's the lay of the land looking like? Where do we stand in the world of AI and innovation? And how do we understand what comes next and what resources do we need to provide? You know, Liz talked about the coaching piece that we are able to do, and we are listening on both our talent side and our clients of understanding, okay, where are we lost? What resources do we need to provide? And one of the key questions we asked employers was whether or not they are investing in upskilling or reskilling their employees. And excitingly, this number is trending upwards, as we've seen in our own data. We did a study every single quarter to see kind of the same questions and how they shift. And we've seen this number increase from the beginning of the year up to this 41% that we're seeing right now. If we hit the next slide, we'll go into a little bit more details about what those skills are being prioritized. And so if you see in this top two, we actually see creativity and innovation and adaptability and flexibility as a big, big, big focus, especially with the growth of soft skills that will take over in the next 3 years. So as job seekers, how are you showing your diversity in your skill set? How are you showing that you have a mindset of learning and continuing to grow with all of the things that are coming in our world here? In the next slide, we have a quote from the 2025 LinkedIn Workplace Learning Report. So it says 91% of learning and development professionals believe that human skills are increasingly important, especially adaptability and continuous learning. So in the age where we think we're going to be taken over by robots, at the end of the day, it's your human skills and your authenticity that is still going to be standing out. So as you search and you apply for jobs, make sure you're looking at your roles and obviously customizing your resumes to answer all of the different pieces that are being sought out. Take the time to look at the responsibilities and your past experiences that align with all of the roles and what they're looking for, and use data to show your top skills and successes. But you also need to understand and showcase that you know AI, and not to just use it to throw your resume in or throw your cover letters in to be able to write those for you. It actually, there's a quote that one of my coworkers likes to use. It takes one to know one. And there are signs, and we can tell when people use AI in their resumes or when they're using it in a way that is not intentional and not authentic to you. So being able to run it in ChatGPT, but then still be able to read through and make sure that your pieces of your story are being told is so important. So one, getting past whatever those AI ATS systems is of course important, but at the end of the day, you're the one doing the interviews, not your chatbot. So being able to still utilize technology and use AI in a way that's ethical and intentional, but also being able to still showcase why you are the best fit for that job, making sure that you are showcasing your skills, your love for learning, and how you've been adapting is going to be some of those ways that you can also stand out once you get to that phase. We actually had some feedback from some of our clients that said they can actually tell when people are using ChatGPT in real time for some of their interviews because it doesn't sound authentic. So being able to lean in on the behavioral interview questions, the STAR methods, and all of those different pieces to make sure that your story is coming out is very, very important. So if you hit the next slide, it wouldn't be Soundings unless I was talking about freelancing. So as Liz talked about from the very beginning, we work with a lot of freelancers, and we also not only match them with work, but we also talk about things like classification and why we have to be W-2 versus 1099, all of those different pieces, the administrative backend. So there is a lot that we talk about in that sense. So this is a big number right here. companies anticipating working with freelancers. And I think I have a clock here. Let me know if I'm running out of time here. But I just want to say, for anybody who is seeking jobs, and I know we talked about freelancing a little bit, do think about that intern mentality, forever intern mentality, as you go in the in-between, and think about some of those contacts that you can reach on to try some new skills and try some new work in the in-between while you're looking for your jobs. And that's kind of what I wanted to share here. I have, if we want to skip to our last slide, I have some continued resources for all of you here. If you want to learn more about what we're doing from the AI research standpoint, you can actually get your own engagement persona so you can see where you are in your AI journeys, some additional articles and resources, and you can reach us if you have any other questions or things you want to learn. So hopefully I covered some of those pieces and some of those things that people were looking at.
That was great, Nikki. Yeah, no, and I really like seeing that 92% of companies are considering increasing the freelancers. We've been hearing that anecdotally, which is frustrating and a challenge for a lot of the people who would prefer to be on full time, but also good to hear that there's opportunity out there. It's just a matter right now of being a little bit flexible, a little bit thinking differently about what a job means to you for just a little while until things kind of even back out.
Exactly. We don't know what's coming in the future, but this is the now. And again, who knows? Things can change tomorrow, the week later. I don't even know what I'm doing a week from today. So
I don't know what's for dinner tonight. So there we go. Awesome. Nikki, thank you so much. Really appreciate you being here.